Have you ever wondered what you would do if you suddenly became one of the wealthiest people on the planet? It's a fun daydream, but for MacKenzie Scott, it became a reality. And what she did next is changing the world in a way few people ever have. This is the incredible story of MacKenzie Scott's giving. MacKenzie Scott's journey into the philanthropic spotlight began after her divorce from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos in 2019. The settlement left her with a 4% stake in Amazon, which at the time was worth about $38 billion. Overnight, she became one of the richest women in the world. Many people in her position might have bought a private island or a fleet of superyachts, but MacKenzie Scott had a different plan. Just a few months after the divorce, she signed the Giving Pledge. This is a commitment by some of the world's wealthiest individuals to give away the majority of their wealth to charitable causes. In her pledge letter, she wrote something that would define her entire approach. "I have a disproportionate amount of money to share. My approach to philanthropy will continue to be thoughtful. It will take time and effort and care, but I won't wait. And I will keep at it until the safe is empty." Until the safe is empty. That one phrase sent a shockwave through the world of philanthropy. This wasn't about setting up a traditional foundation that would last for generations. This was about giving money away, quickly and effectively, to the people who need it most, right now. And she wasn't kidding about not waiting. The giving started almost immediately, and it was unlike anything the nonprofit world had ever seen. The scale was massive, but it was the method that was truly revolutionary. Traditional philanthropy often involves a long, complicated process. Nonprofits have to write detailed grant proposals, go through multiple rounds of interviews, and then submit extensive reports on how every single dollar was spent. It's a system that can be slow, burdensome, and favors larger, well-established organizations with professional grant writers. MacKenzie Scott and her team decided to flip that script. They did their own research, quietly and behind the scenes. They identified organizations that were already doing incredible work in their communities, often led by women, people of color, and those with direct lived experience of the issues they were trying to solve. These were often smaller, under-the-radar groups that were frequently overlooked by big donors. And then came the surprise. One day, the leaders of these nonprofits would get a phone call. An unexpected, life-changing phone call. "Hello, we're calling on behalf of MacKenzie Scott. She would like to give you a multi-million-dollar gift." Imagine that moment. You're running a small food bank, a local arts program, or a community health clinic, constantly struggling to make payroll and keep the lights on. And then, out of the blue, you receive a donation larger than your entire annual budget. But here's the most important part. The money came with no strings attached. This is what's known in the nonprofit world as unrestricted funding. MacKenzie Scott's message was simple. We trust you. You are the experts on the ground. You know what your community needs better than we do. Use this money in the way you see fit. This level of trust is almost unheard of in big-time philanthropy. It empowered these organizations to dream bigger. They could use the money to expand their services, hire more staff, buy a new building, or even just create a financial cushion to weather future crises. For many, it was the first time they could stop thinking about just surviving and start thinking about thriving. Let's look at the numbers, because they are staggering. In just a few years, MacKenzie Scott has given away more than $16 billion to over 1,600 nonprofit organizations. To put that in perspective, that's more than many of the world's largest foundations give away in a decade. The recipients are incredibly diverse. She has supported groups working on racial equity, gender equality, public health, climate change, and education. She's given to historically Black colleges and universities, rural community centers, and organizations that support LGBTQ+ rights. The common thread is a focus on empowering communities and tackling systemic inequality. For example, she gave millions to Meals on Wheels chapters across the country, helping them deliver food to homebound seniors. She donated to Habitat for Humanity, enabling them to build more affordable homes. She supported the Girl Scouts, investing in the next generation of female leaders. This approach has been called trust-based philanthropy, and it's sending ripples throughout the entire charitable sector. It's challenging the old way of doing things, where wealthy donors often dictate how their money should be used. MacKenzie Scott's model puts the power back into the hands of the community leaders who are doing the actual work. Of course, her method hasn't been without its critics. Some have called for more transparency, wanting to know exactly who is on her team and how they make their decisions. Others have argued that her massive donations could potentially disrupt local ecosystems if not handled carefully. In response, MacKenzie Scott began publishing lists of the organizations she supports, often in blog posts where she shares her thinking. She emphasizes that her goal is to de-emphasize the giver and focus the attention on the nonprofits themselves. She doesn't want statues or buildings named after her. She wants the work of these incredible organizations to speak for itself. Her philosophy is rooted in a sense of humility and a deep awareness of the privileges that led to her wealth. She acknowledges that her fortune is the product of a system that creates massive economic inequality. In her own words, she is trying to give back the wealth that was enabled by systems in need of change. So, what does the future hold? MacKenzie Scott has pledged to keep at it until the safe is empty, as her Amazon stock continues to grow in value. Her capacity to give is almost limitless. She is on track to become one of the most significant philanthropists in human history, not just because of the amount of money she's giving, but because of how she's giving it. Her story is a powerful reminder that wealth is a tool. It can be hoarded, or it can be shared. MacKenzie Scott has made her choice, and in doing so, she's not just funding nonprofits, she's funding hope. She's placing a massive bet on the power of community, on the expertise of local leaders, and on the idea that real change comes from the ground up. It's a grand experiment in giving, and the world is watching. She is challenging the very definition of what it means to be a philanthropist in the 21st century. It's a story that is still unfolding, with billions of dollars yet to be given and countless lives yet to be changed. And it all started with a simple, powerful promise: to keep giving until the safe is empty. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think of MacKenzie Scott's approach to giving? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story as inspiring as we did, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like it. See you next time.